Hello, geometry classes. Let's practice with our 11.8 samples where we're finding surface area and volume of spheres and doing some work with some composite figures. First question, sample 1. What is the surface area of the sphere here? And the sphere happens to have a radius of 17 feet. Well, let's find our surface area formula, 4 pi r squared. Let's go ahead and substitute in 17 for our radius. So our surface area is 4 pi 17 squared. Let's go ahead and simplify that before we throw that into our calculator. 17 squared is 289. So here's our 4, and our pi is still part of our expression. 4 times 289 is 1,156 times pi is still there. And now it's calculator time. If you don't do all of this simplifying before you put it in your calculator, it's not wrong. You can get exactly the same answer. Again, I always prefer when it's simplifying to do it to sort of eliminate the errors that typically happen when we're putting a lot of numbers in our calculator. All right, so my calculator will tell me 1,156 times pi is 3,629.84 feet squared, and this is an area question, so we need to give our answer in units squared, and our units are feet squared. How much wrapping paper would we need to cover up that ball, that sphere? This is how much we would need. All right, sample 2. Here's a different sphere. We're finding its volume. This time we're not told the radius, we're told the diameter. Remember, the relationship between the diameter and radius is always the diameter is twice as much as the radius is half as much as the diameter. So our volume formula will use radius, so our first task will be to take the diameter of 35 inches and to find the radius. So we will take the diameter, divide it by 2 or cut it in half, and that's going to give us 17.5 for our radius. Now it's time to plug that into our formula, 4/3 pi r cubed. Our r is 17.5. And in this case, there's not much simplifying to do. That is anywhere close to simple, so I'm going to put all of this into my calculator. 4 times 3.14 times 7.5 to the third power, and then divide all of that by 3. And this is what I will see on my display, 22,437.92 inches cubed. So that will be the volume of the sphere. And notice that my units are cubed, and that's because I'm literally counting how many cubes, all an inch by an inch by an inch, would fit inside of the sphere. There wouldn't be a whole number of them. There would be a little more than 22,437 of them that would fit inside of that sphere oh so nicely. All right, last problem. What is the volume of this composite solid? We can see it's a cone, and it's a half of a ball shape, half of a sphere, put together. So to find the volume, we'll have to find the volume of the cone plus the half of the sphere. The volume for a cone is 1/3 pi r squared h. And so we remember that from a previous lesson. Remember, anything that's coming to a point, such as a cone or a pyramid, you'll see that 1/3 that will precede the rest of the formula. There's always going to be a third left of whatever the solid was before it was sharpened down to a point. And over here, the 1/2 comes from the fact that we are finding half of a sphere, so 1/2 of the sphere. So that's 4/3 times pi times our radius cubed. So putting all the numbers in, 1/3 times pi times 5 squared for our radius times 12 for the height. We're given that information here. Height is 12, radius is 5. Plus 1/2 times 4/3 times pi times 5 cubed. 5 is going in for r. And then we'll do simplifying if we so desire. Again, all of this could be put in your calculator, but there's so many chances for error in putting all that in. I'm going to prefer to simplify where I can easily first. So 1/3 stays 1/3, pi stays pi, 5 squared is 25. I'll bring my 12 down, plus, well, here 4 divided by 2 is 2, so that's going to be 2/3. Pi stays the same, and 5 times 5 times 5 is 125. All right, there's still some more simplifying. It'll be easy. Bring your 1/3 down, bring your pi down. 25 times 12 is 300. Think of the value of 12 quarters. And since that's $3, you can immediately know that 25 times 12 must be 300. Over here, let's see, 2/3 times pi times 125 I'll leave alone for right now. All right, continuing on, 1/3 of 300 is 100. I'm leaving the rest of it alone. Then I say, oh, well, wait a minute. I can do a little more simplifying here. This 125 times 2 is 250, and that'll be over 3, and you're going to see that in my next step. But I also decided I'm going to factor out pi. That'll make it easier for me to plug into my calculator. So I'm going to factor out pi. Pi times 100 is pi times 100. Pi times 250 over 3 is my 2 times pi times 125 over 3. So in my calculator now, I'm just going to figure out what is 100 plus 250 divided by 3 times my pi, and this is what I'm going to see on my display. So that means that this is actually 2/3 when you see that repeating 6, but we are using decimals here, so we'll round this off to the nearest hundredth, so that second 6 will become 7. So my volume will be about 575.67 centimeters cubed. Again, this is a volume measurement, so we need to make sure that we are giving our units in cubed fashion to indicate how many of those little dice-shaped cubes could fit inside of that lovely looking cone. Perhaps it's a delicious ice cream cone, who knows? All right, that is all for the samples for this quiz, and it's time to move on into your quiz now. We'll see you next time.